Greetings, fellow moviegoers, and welcome to Movie Central, the place to talk about movies, TV shows based on movies, toys based on movies, games based on movies, and rides based on movies. I'm your host, Mr. CCS, and this is my pet gorilla, George. What is it with Wonder Woman's movie appearances sucking all of a sudden? I mean, come on, you get the one good movie, and then her awful appearances in Justice League, a crappy animated film, a crappy live-action film, and not one but two crappy cameos that result in nothing. I don't know what it is that is so hard about this character, especially considering a ton of the things have done her justice in this decade. Maybe it comes down to that previously mentioned crappy film, which is the second to last film in the DCAMU, and also its worst film. How, you might be asking? Let's find out today. This is Wonder Woman Bloodlines. Heads up, this review's a little shorter because I don't really have that many nice things to say about it. When Amazon Princess Diana of Themyscira, voiced again by Rosario Dawson, chooses to save fighter pilot Steve Trevor, voiced this time by Jeffrey Donovan, it's a choice that will change her world and ours. Fulfilling the role of both ambassador as well as protector, Diana earns the name Wonder Woman from the gracious people of Earth. But her heart is as strong as her will, as she is determined to help a troubled and embittered young girl, voiced by Marie Avgeropoulos. I don't know if I pronounced that name right. I'm sorry if I didn't. Who has fallen in with a deadly organization known as Villainy Inc. I'm not kidding. These guys are from the comics, and that's what it's actually called. Get ready for an exciting adventure packed with brutal battles, myth, and wonder. Yeah, as I've said, this is the DCAMU's worst film, easily for me. The biggest issue the movie has comes down to the writing. It's painful to sit through this very clumsily thrown together movie because of how shaky the writing is. It tries to cram so much story into an 80-minute runtime and it doesn't work. Elements of it work, but as a whole, it falls flat on its face. Regardless of the bad writing, is there anything good notable? No. Just things that are, notable. I don't know what it is, but this movie is very rushed, and it feels very uneasy with its characters. The only good characters in the movie are Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor, but even they get bogged down by the bad writing and all of the cramming this movie tried to do. Wonder Woman finally gets a new costume, but she doesn't have much character development after that. Her relationship with Steve Trevor is existent, but it's hardly ever touched upon because there are so many other characters to focus on. Cheetah, Giganta, Dr. Cyber, Dr. Poison, and Etta Candy are all in this movie. And because the movie is trying to do so much, it doesn't have time to focus on the characters. Maybe one of these villains could work, but not all in one movie in major roles. Honestly, it doesn't make any sense. This is where I inevitably talk about Batman Hush, but at least that movie had a reason for so many villains. And at least Batman Nightfall had a reason for so many villains. Whatever. Honestly, I don't like it. There are two main villains that the movie does focus on. However, one of them is good and the other one is painful. The painful one is Medusa, because she shows up randomly and turns into a kaiju for the final battle. I don't need to explain why that bothers me. If you want to know why, just watch my Turning Red review, #shameless plug to infinity. The point is, she's a bad villain and no one I ever want to see again. As far as the good villain goes, Silver Swan is a pretty well-written villain. Her motivation is understandable, and I feel for her every step of the way. Although, seeing as how I'm putting together a Wonder Woman movie myself, and Silver Swan is the main villain with a very similar setup, I think she should have been the primary focus. So yeah, this isn't a good ensemble cast. And it sucks because I love ensemble casts so much. And this is just kind of lame. You know what else is kind of lame? The animation. It somehow took the style we were used to and made it so much more cartoony. Ugh, how the hell do you turn this animation style from mature to goofy in the span of a few months? I don't know. Sometimes it looks more good than other times, but I prefer this other style a lot more, obviously. It looks a lot like a comic book, while this one looks just goofy most of the time. Also, the violence is massively toned back. I mean, in the final battle, Wonder Woman sprays snake venom in her eyes and the wounds look pretty gnarly, but that's about it. I don't have much else nice to say. But that's because this movie is very bare bones in regards to things, despite the fact that it has so much stuff in it. Ugh. This movie is very forgettable and has a ton of problems. There are some okay things in it, but overall it's not great and is my least favorite film in the DCAMU. Consider my 6 out of 10 score lucky. Now, that was a quick review. But next time I review a DCAMU movie, it'll be longer and more in depth because that will be a movie that is actually worth talking about. With that said, my name is Mr. CCS. This is Movie Central, and that, my friends, is a wrap. See you next week.